Welcome to the Word of the Week. Today we're talking about how the mental health of your family impacts your resilience. I recently wrote a curriculum called Finding Resilience in Today's World, Being Intentional About Self-Care. In that curriculum, I explain how what my wife was going through impacted my mental health. See, a lot of people, especially like those of us that are in the military, first responders, a lot of times your commanders, your leaders, they're focusing on you. But what they don't understand and what they don't know is what's going on in your home is actually affecting you. And it's your spouse, it's your children, and it's what they're going through and their mental health is what's impacting you. When I was married in 2003, my wife is just beautiful. It's just like, you're in love. Oh, I love you. I love you. No, I love you. And then 6 months, go by, a year goes by, 2 years goes by, and then you begin to start finding out some things about your spouse that you didn't know up front, right? Because you were still in honeymoon phase. And then you begin to find out some things about their past, about their growing up. And there's some things about my wife I found out about her past and her growing up and her first marriage and how that impacted her mental health. And then I'm shot at Fort Hood. My wife loses both her parents 9 days apart, only 6 months before I was shot. That impacted my wife's mental health. So when I'm recovering, guess who's recovering also? My wife. But not only is she recovering, it's the things from her past, from back in the day when she was young, that are still something that she has to deal with. Losing her parents, that is something she has to deal with mentally and emotionally. And then I'm shot, something she has to deal with mentally and emotionally. We had to understand that not only was I recovering mentally and emotionally, but my wife was recovering mentally and emotionally, and what she's going through had an impact on my resilience, on my recovery, and my mental health. My recovery, my mental health had an impact on hers. So what did we do? What was the antidote? My wife and I, one, grabbed onto Jesus, and he became the source of our resilience. Man, we read the Bible, we went to church, we were counseled by a pastor, not multiple, but a pastor. Then we were seeing licensed professional counselors through the military, individually, then together, because we had to figure out how we were going to start doing life through trauma. And so as my wife started seeing the counselor, she began to work on the things from her past. She began to work on her family, losing both her parents 9 days apart. She began to work on the shooting, on how it impacted her, and she got better. And her resilience and her mental health began to get healed. Your family, your children, your spouse, their mental health can easily impact yours. And so it's just something that we have to be aware of and just make sure that we're getting the right people involved, the right professionals involved, and more than anything, that the Lord is involved. Okay, this is just a short message to remind you that your family's mental health can impact yours. But it's okay, you can get through it. You don't have to point fingers at them, you don't have to judge them. But I would say, let's get help. Start with Jesus, and then get into some counseling individually and then together. And then together you will heal. All right. I'll see you next week on the Word of the Week. Talk to you soon.